Hello, everyone. This session will take place in English and there will be simultaneous translation to Arabic. Hello and welcome. We're really glad to have you here at the 10th edition of the Palestine Digital Activism Forum. This year the theme feels especially urgent in times of war and ongoing emergencies where digital spaces are not neutral. They become sites of narrative control, surveillance, censorship, and at the same time of resistance, solidarity, and survival. The conversation we're having today directly impacts people's safety, visibility, and ability to tell their own stories. This session looks at a critical and timely question. What does it mean to build ethical technology in a world where mainstream AI platforms are deeply entangled in systems of occupation, surveillance, and data extraction? We'll be exploring this through the work of Thaura, a platform developed as a response to these realities, aiming to challenge big tech complicity while offering an alternative grounded in justice and accountability. I'm very pleased to welcome our speaker today, Hani Shahabi. Hani and Saeed are Syrian brothers who made a bold decision to leave their tech careers after realizing their work was indirectly supporting systems of oppression. Since then, they've dedicated themselves to build Thaura, an ethical AI platform refuses to profit from injustice and instead seeks to serve people, especially those most impacted by marginalization and occupation. Unfortunately, Saeed could not join us today, but we're very glad to have Hani with us to share their work and vision. Welcome, Hani. It's great to have you with us.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks. At the end of this workshop, we will open the space for questions from the audience. So if you have one, please write it in the chat. Um, we will start now with a short explainer video to introduce Thaura and its core vision. Let's take a moment to watch. Mahdi, please.
One moment, please.
AI should help you learn, research, and create, not track you, censor you, or profit from your private data. That's why we built Thaura, an AI workspace built for thinkers, learners, and creators. Upload documents, PDFs, or images and turn sources into interactive reports with verified citations. Sustainable design, showing estimated CO2 avoided. Write production-ready code in any language and bring ideas to life from polished writing to interactive outputs. Unlike big tech AI, Thaura keeps your data encrypted and fully yours. Built to provide truthful answers on the kind of questions big tech platforms are running away from. Think freely, create responsibly. Welcome to Thaura.
Thank you for that, Mahdi. Thank you for that, Hani. Let's start from the beginning. Who are you and what inspired you to build Thaura?
Thank you very much. I am Hani, and together with my brother Said, who, like you said, unfortunately could not attend today. We are two Syrian brothers. We were born in Syria, and we came to Germany shortly before the war happened in Germany. So when we arrived, we didn't just feel appreciation because we were able to build something abroad while our people back home were not having these opportunities. So with this appreciation, there also came responsibility. And we always wanted to give something back. So we worked at tech jobs, and our goal was to like have this as our early stages of giving something back to the community. But as you mentioned in the beginning, it turned out that many of our clients of the company we were working in were tied to oppressive systems like Zionist systems. And this was this big contradiction. We were doing the exact opposite of what we wanted to do. So we felt complicit, and we are young. We don't have much responsibilities. No wife, no kids. We have a cat. That's the maximum responsibility we have. So we basically took the leap and quit our tech jobs without even knowing what we wanted to do, but we knew that there might come something out of it. So only then we looked at how we can help our lands, and not only Syria but also Palestine and the whole Middle East, honestly. And we looked at big tech, and we realized that generally the tech system is not only oppressing our homelands, but the world in general. We saw how big tech, which is basically a handful of major tech companies like Apple, Microsoft, Google, Amazon, they dominate our digital lives, and they use this to oppress us. So this basically inspired us to build an alternative, since there were alternatives, but when it came to AI, there was none. There were open source LLMs, but like for the regular Joe, the regular auntie that's using ChatGPT and gives out all her data towards it, there was no alternative. So we took an open source LLM, we built a basic interface, and we gave it out to the people, to our family and friends, just to have something that goes beyond a boycott, because boycotting is only the first step. But after they boycott something they genuinely need, like an AI, they need a solution, they need an alternative. So this basically what inspired us to build Thaura. And early stages, it was just a simple interface, but with time, we got the feedback of missing voice mode, missing uploading images and all the files. And this basically refined and perfected Thaura to what it is today, a complete alternative to ChatGPT and all the other big tech AI platforms.
Awesome. And in relation to that, one of the key issues we're grappling with today is how big tech shapes narratives and exerts control, especially in the Palestinian context. How does Thaura respond to challenges like censorship, surveillance, narrative control that affect Palestinians and Palestinian narratives?
So first of all, generally, when you look at big tech, they have a lot of impact on us because we get a lot of our information from these platforms. Before I go to big tech AI, generally, I want to start off with YouTube, because when you look at YouTube, there is no alternative for YouTube. YouTube is the monopoly. And when there are Palestinian documentaries that are being taken down, and people are like railing against it and talking up and speaking up, nothing will happen because there's no alternative. So we are basically dependent on them, and they can do whatever they want. So before it gets too late in other regards, specifically yet now for AI, it is important to provide an alternative that also gives these marginalized voices like Palestinians a platform to not be oppressed in, basically. Not only not be oppressed in, but also to be amplified. And when you look at, besides YouTube, let's say ChatGPT, if you ask a question like, is it a genocide? It will definitely say, no, it's not a genocide. Because they have big players they're trying to serve. They are backed by Zionist billionaires that basically control these platforms. And if we keep spending our time and effort and attention and money towards these platforms, we basically eliminate the possibility of having our own infrastructure of our own platforms that amplify our voices. So what we did with Thaura is we provided a ethical guardrail guideline that always stands with these marginalized voices. We're completely unfunded and bootstrapped, which means we don't have any external pressures that might tell us to silence any voices. And this is what we're standing for. We're not standing for profit, we're standing for the people. And this is something that gets neglected in big tech generally. So we're just trying to do our part in the AI field.
Thank you. Hani, since launching Thaura, what kind of impact have you seen so far, and how do you measure impact in your case? Do you feel there's a growing appetite for alternatives like Thaura?
So we basically launched 3 months ago, and within the first 2 months, we gained 100,000 users. And keep in mind, we haven't paid any ads. We are not funded. This was all the community's work. So we just provided the platform, and through that, everyone started to share and to really use it as well. And people have been migrating, and they've been using it, and they see they see a slight difference, but the general AI user has enough in Thaura. So this is great. So not only are people migrating towards it, but they're also staying on it. And this just really shows that there's a big appetite. I mean, if people get exposed to the truth and get a alternative and a solution that is accessible, not only in regards of financially accessible, but also something that matches the performance of the big players to a degree that it's enough. Of course, it cannot always be 100% like the big versions, but something that is good enough. People are willing to do so. I mean, we've seen with Upscrolled. I mean, I'm sure definitely many heard about Upscrolled, a alternative to Instagram, which within 5 days or so gained 5 million users. Why? Because again, they were exposed to the truth. Larry Ellison, which is the second richest man in the world, and a Zionist billionaire, he bought TikTok, and people were like, okay, no, they're seeing big tech really like moving actively and publicly, so they decided to do a shift. And Upscrolled they were like going good, but they were not at the million ranges. But within days, many people just jumped on Upscrolled, which shows that many people are willing to do so. We just got to take the initiative and give people these solutions.
By the way, we have a session with Upscrolled later today, a workshop. So I encourage
I know.
you to join the session. Thank you, Hani. Looking beyond Thaura as a single tool, how do you see its role within the broader movement for Palestinian digital sovereignty?
The first thing that comes in mind here is community. I mean, we just have to prove ourselves that if we come together, we can build something. And Thaura is evidence for that. And not only Thaura, but also Upscrolled, of course. But we are so many. We are so many. There are so many that already know what is going on, what USA and Israel is doing, and how Palestinians are being oppressed. But we are lacking the coordination and the will to come together and build something. So starting off with Thaura, it just like I myself did not expect to have Thaura grow this fast. But if we like just coordinate and get the people together, we show ourselves that we are a big community. And the only thing that's currently lacking, which I believe soon will not be the case anymore, is coordination. And that's, as a matter of fact, exactly what you guys are doing, which is you are bringing the community together to really provide a solution that is coordinated and just build something where from there we can just keep building and building and come together and build basically.
Looking ahead, where do you see Thaura in the future? What are your hopes or next steps for the platform?
For Thaura, it is definitely just to grow and not only become a pro-Palestine chatbot or whatever. It is a chatbot or AI in general that should really compete with the big players. So currently we're really playing with our resources very smart since we are refusing to take funding. But I believe if in case we do take funding and really try to aim to the sky, we would like to compete with the big players on a very, very serious level. Not only as an alternative, but as a competitor that only doesn't come from Zionist billionaires.
Thank you. How we can basically access and start using Thaura?
Yes, you can go on Thaura.ai. There you'll have the desktop version. We also have a Android app, and we have desktop apps like for Linux and for the MacBook. Only thing is when it comes to the iOS store, the Apple store, we're trailing behind on that because they take 30% commission and we don't want to pay 30% for Apple. But it turns out that there's no other option. So I guess you'll soon have the iOS app as well, but it might take a bit. But go to Thaura.ai on your desktop or get the desktop versions. And if you have an Android, go to the Play Store and you can download it there.
Thank you, Hani. Can you show us later maybe to have a little bit of chat related to the context, to the ongoing war so people can see it? Maybe now I have a question, another question to you. Looking at the broader ecosystem, what would it take to scale ethical alternatives like Thaura in a way that truly challenges big tech dominance?
I don't think it's that difficult, to be honest. I think it's as simple as just building the platform and coming together. And like Upscroll did take a lot of funding, and look how amazing they're doing right now through the help of the investors. But what they did is they just took the leap, and it's not difficult to take the leap and build a proof of concept, a proof of, look, this is a slightly worse version than the big platform, but people are willing to do so. So if we get the money in and build a team structure and really start scaling this, we can actually compete with them. And this is what Upscroll is currently doing, where we wanna get to eventually. But I believe again, it's just taking the leap and taking the initiative. And now everything is being coded through AI, and everyone is somehow building apps. So I believe if someone has the time and the will, they can just build something, just something like a basic version. And the only thing then is again coordination and making people convinced that this might work. And through the community, again, they will get the platform, and they will get the people on board as well. And this actually is where we should mention Tech for Palestine, because that's exactly what they're doing. They are taking mini projects like the one I just talked about. If someone has just the will to build something basic, and to really mentor them, give them marketing advice, and generally advice on how to approach things. And from there, it's again the community work, and it's a completely different system to what you see at Silicon Valley. It's not really profit driven; it's more ethics driven. And like if anyone has the will to do so, there are many ways. Start off with Tech for Palestine and just get into the community. And yeah, again, community, community, community. I believe this is the way we can scale to not only be alternatives, but actual competitors.
Thank you, Hani. As digital security help desk manager at Hamle, I am also interested into knowing how do you ensure strong ethical and security standards?
This is where my brother should come in because he's actually the CTO. Um, so basically, I really could not answer the question. My brother handles all the technical sides. Um, but my part in it was really just connecting him to cybersecurity experts and like really pick their brain. And a lot of people are just who don't have this expertise. They can just, again, community, they can reach out to other people who are willing to support. And there are a lot of people when it comes to Thaura. So he got into calls with them, and they told him how what exactly he should look for, and yeah, but like the details on what to focus on, technical terms, this I would not know of.
Thank you. Maybe we can have insights later by a panel to our audience. Let's see. Thank you
Yeah.
for that. There's a Florencia comment that they've been using Thaura and it's been great. Thank you for letting us know.
Thanks.
We would like to have another comment. So thank you for your insights. Finally, before opening the floor and taking questions from the Q&A sections, do you have last message that you would like to share with the audience?
My message to everyone would be to just keep going and actually like realize on how things are moving in the ethical tech space or the alternative tech space, resilient tech space. Also, what these guys are doing right now is only proof that if we come together and just work on it, we might be small in the beginning, but soon, very, very soon, it will get more mainstream. And Upscrolled, again, I'm mentioning Upscrolled a lot, but they're just a very great example because they've gotten very big. They were also a small project, but with the snap of a finger, they just turned out to be the number one app in the apps in all app stores and Play stores. So I believe that this movement that we're having right now, even though sometimes it seems small, will really become mainstream, really, really mainstream. And big tech will be a ick for many, many people. And tech that comes from Palestinian creators or generally creators that come from marginalized communities, this will be trendy. So just keep going and slowly get there.
Thank you, Hani. Now we'd love to open the space for questions from the audience. So if you have one, please write it in the chat or join session to open microphone and camera. Let's start with this one. Dina is asking, how can we use Thaura and similar ethical AI to preserve and protect Palestinian identity and our national symbols from being censored or destroyed by global tech giants and their biased algorithms?
That is a very, very nice and good question.
Thank you, Dina.
Yeah, thank you for that question. We have to like differentiate between two things. Number one is like our framework of where we want to get, and number two is the actual practical terms, the technical terms, on how to actually implement them. So we have to be a bit technical here because we want to get to the point where we preserve, where we specifically do the work to preserve Palestinian work. But we need the data to do so. We need people who give us the feedback so we can train the models to actually give have more impact in that regards. So whenever you ask a question to Thaura and it does not really give, or even though let's say it does give a answer that really amplifies Palestinian work, you can still give a feedback, and we get these feedbacks. Like with every response you get from Thaura, there's the option to give feedback. There's a button for it. So I would really, really appreciate if if there is feedback to give it out to us, because this is all data that might that can help us improve our model and be stronger when it comes to Palestinian work.
Thank you. We have anonymous questions thanking you for grounding ethics and asking, will you please talk about the importance of an open source model for this platform and how it is different than if you used proprietary model?
Yeah. So first of all, proprietary models, you don't know where they hosted and what they do in the background. Basically, our model is currently GLM 4.5 Air because we started as a as a small project, and we did not have the resources, the financial resources, to actually build our own model. So we used a open source model, which is GLM 4.5 Air, and we built an ethical framework around it with our preprocessor and really prompt engineering at the end of the day, because you can only play with the cards that we dealt. Like, we cannot say, okay, we don't have the resources to build our own model, let's not do this initiative. It's not perfect, so let's not do it. We can't think like this. So but when it comes to proprietary models, they deliberately like you cannot like when it comes to proprietary models, if you speak about the OpenAI and the Anthropic, you're using platforms that are controlled by Zionist billionaires, and you don't know what runs on the background. So basically, they're well known to provide free stuff, but at the end of the day, really use your usage with the AI to log the data and to train off of it. So this is where it comes to us using a open source model, knowing that it's just out there and we can put it on our own servers. And this is also important to mention. We have our own GPUs. We rent our own GPUs. They're not even in America. They are in Europe, because in America, if the government says national security, we need the data of Anthropic, OpenAI, whatever, they are obligated to give them the data. So we have our GPUs in Sweden, and they are dedicated GPUs. And our open source LLM, which has no ties to big tech at all, where we know there's no middleman eavesdropping, lives there basically. It runs there. And this is why it's important to have open source LLMs instead of proprietary models. Marwa, you're muted.
Thanks for flagging that, Hani. Thank you. And we're taking another question from Jumana, asking what kind of support do you need to guarantee that the platform will keep evolving or continue to competing with the other solutions?
First of all, good news, Thaura is going really well. We're really sustaining ourselves. Since we have a healthy business model and we have a $15 a month plan, and people are really supporting with that, we have good aims in the future. But like, to maintain this, we just need more people to talk about Thaura and really spread the message and have more people migrate to it. But so far it's going really good. So I just want this to keep going like this. Whenever you have like your friends, your family using a big tech AI platform, make them feel bad and show them Thaura. And I think this is all we need.
So yeah, thank you. This can be the answer for another question, asking how you plan to scale the company Thaura without external funding. Thank you, Hani.
Exactly, yeah, this would answer the question.
Anonymous is asking, how does your platform handle the environmental costs and impacts of the resources AI demands? Is this part of your ethical framework?
Yes, yes. So what big tech basically does is they build a new model every other week, every other month, and say that the latest model is so necessary to have, and they just retrain the models every now and then, and this is really unsustainable. When we don't think that way, we don't like. Their goal is to achieve AGI, artificial general intelligence. Our goal is not to do so. We just want to have a trusted platform that provides the basic needs of the user. So what we are doing is we're using open source LLMs. Of course, we do eventually want to have our own model, but we don't want to get to the point where we're really retraining models every other week. And this is actually a very, very important fact to know, and many people don't know this, and also I had to learn this recently. First of all, Thaura is a very, very small model. Like, compared to the big tech versions, it's very small, like 93% smaller, and it's also a mixture of experts model, meaning it intelligently decides what expert to use per question. So if I ask you now, Marwa, how are you doing? What did you eat today for breakfast? You would not think about your whole life and start running your whole brain. just to answer this tiny question. And what Big Tech does is they do exactly that because they want to train the AI and get it better. So they don't have, their approach generally is not sustainable. But on top of this, I had to learn that the biggest unsustainable approach of theirs is that they're always training models, and this is just killing water resources, and we're basically recycling models. We're not even training our own at this point, and using other open source LLMs. And like we're seeing, many people are good enough with it. And also, when you look at iPhones, I mean, every iPhone I see nowadays is basically an iPhone 10, just with small, slightly better updates and upgrades. So people already have enough. Like, we're hitting a plateau, but they're just trying to convince you that that you need a better model, so they have something they can sell you.
Thanks, Hani. Yael is asking, what kinds of processes have you used to train Thaura to be anti-colonial? What data you train it on, and how do you mitigate colonial bias in the data?
So we have a constitution, a Thaura constitution, and this is our ethical framework on how we approach things. And this is also like our prompt, like part of our prompt that we're giving our model. And you can find it at thaura.ai/constitution. Like, if you go on our homepage, you can find constitution. And this is basically our ethical framework. And when it comes to how we do it in the technical sense, in the practical sense, we currently are leveraging a open source LLM. Again, it's GLM 4.5 Air, so we did not train it with our own data. I know it's not perfect. I wish I would have my own Thaura model, but we had to play with the cards that we dealt, and we had to build this initiative. And this is the first step, to use an open source LLM, which is trained on Chinese data, of course, and we don't even know how exactly they got trained, but and just leverage on that and build a preprocessor, a strong preprocessor that always tells the LLM to stay with the marginalized voices, with the oppressed, not the oppressors, and have no agenda. And you can try it out. You can ask ChatGPT if it's a genocide, and it will tell you no. But when you ask Thaura, it will tell you yes. And you can also try other political, let's say, examples where there's bias in other big tech platforms. But yeah, like, hopefully one day soon, we'll have our own Thaura model and leverage that.
Hopefully, Hani, thanks. Amina is asking how we can protect documentation about Palestine from being deleted by AI systems that prioritize narratives that favor the Israeli Zionist AI military over journalistic reporting based on facts on the ground.
Wow, I love these questions. Thank you so much for that. What we're basically doing is, again, since we don't have our own model, and I'm sorry to always get technical, but it's just necessary to. We have our own app store, like our own connector store. We have many how you say, like projects, for example, Boycat or The Wall, that have big databases of data that has to be preserved, and you can connect them to Thaura. Our app store is currently pretty small. We have like five projects at the moment. Some projects that give out news, some projects that give out what to boycott, where the alternatives are. And I feel like if you have a project that does exactly this, that preserves the Palestinian work, shoot us a mail or go to Thaura.ai home, and the contact form, you can tell us which project, and we would love to collaborate with them and just have them as a connector, so that whenever you connect them to Thaura, you will have their context as well.
And Chris is asking, if we scale up, are we yet again taking more venture capital money that we have to answer to, or is there another way?
If we scale, that we have to get the VC money? Is that the question?
Yeah. Or there is another way?
I mean, so far we've been bootstrapping and like not taking any funds. We do have the options to get funding, and this would definitely accelerate the whole process. But so far so good. We're open. We just don't wanna like, I guess the question also intends that we shouldn't lose mission integrity because of external pressure of investors and VC money. But this is exactly where we don't want to end. And I believe if in case we end like this, and I truly believe that we won't, it's okay. Or in other words, if another project does so, it's okay. We cannot be perfect. We can only play with the cards that we're dealt. And if ethical projects and small projects that want to scale, if they have to do so, then I guess they're limited by the cards they're dealt, and it's fine too. But when it comes to Thaura, no. Like so far so good. We don't have to take funding.
Thanks. Jenna is asking in relation to that, how can Thaura grows as a digital platform supporting ethics and humanitarian cases? I think you answered that partly. And Zena is asking, how does Thaura's AI model contribute to better achieving practices of Palestinian incidents and truth?
Yeah. Basically, what the big tech versions do is they have an agenda. First of all, it's also again a bit technical, but the AI they get trained through the data of the internet, and the internet has a lot of propaganda in it. And what Israel did is they put even more propaganda on it. So not only their platforms that they control gets affected by these propaganda, but also every other AI that might train off the data also gets this propaganda. So we know this, and this is where we work with our LLM and our model to not fall for it, and basically give out truthful answers. So again, like I love bring out this example. You can ask when it comes to truthfulness, all the platforms whether it's a genocide, and they will say no. Every big tech version, not only ChatGPT. But then Thaura, it will say it's a genocide, and it will stay to like it will answer questions that big tech versions are running away from.
Thank you. Dina proposing adding a bias detection tool. Users could input Western media reports, and Thaura would analyze them to highlight hidden propaganda and provide the factual Palestinian narrative based on verified sources.
Yes, that's like again, like this is what we need to evolve. And if Thaura gives out a answer that is not good enough, it's not on purpose really. It's because you have to think again. Like firstly, there's the our where we want to get, and secondly, there's the technical implementation. So Thaura, of course, sometimes it will not give out the best answer. So we always have with every response a feedback button. Just click on that feedback button and tell us what it did wrong, and we really like develop through this.
Thank you. Erica, hello Erica. Hoping the Open LLMs does not accidentally include Meta's guidelines for protected groups, which yesterday we were reminded includes Zionists. So this is a comment from Erica. You would like to reply that?
Sorry, I did not really understand.
She's making a comment about hoping in the Open LLMs does not accidentally include Meta's guideline for protected groups. She means the specific guidelines from when Hani was saying the model will always uplift marginalized groups. So she's referring to the protected groups according to Meta's and other big tech companies' guidelines.
Yeah, they have their own definitions of what's oppressed and whatnot, but at the end of the day, they're controlled by the oppressors, so they're not really to trust.
Um, Thank you, Erika, and everyone. I will check the questions box again to see if there are no further questions. If you have another one, we have few minutes to address that, so please drop in the chat box or join session.
Towards Erica, check out our constitution, and then you'll see what we mean with oppressed and who's the oppressor. Thaura.ai/constitution. You know what? Thaura.
Yeah, thanks, Nani.
Yeah, no worries, but here you go. Oh, I wrote it wrong.
Thank you, Zena. We have another one from Jana. Would Thaura grow further than AI chatbot? Would it grow to include other services like some social services and so on?
Yes, very good question. So basically, what Thaura means is revolution, and we're trying to do a revolution in the tech space. And it's not only AI, we're already working on other alternatives. And as a matter of fact, we have one done already. The only thing that is missing is the delivery and the branding and the marketing towards it. And since we're currently so occupied with Thaura, as thank God it's going out so well, once we build a team structure and have other people working on this, we will also start building other alternatives, because the whole tech space is infiltrated with Zionist billionaires that fund them. So yes, there are many to come, and we're super excited for this. And whatever it needs to bring down the big tech empire, we will do something against it, for it.
Thank you, Hani, for your work and for sharing it with us today. And thank you, everyone, for being part of this conversation. I guess we don't have any other questions, so I want to thank you all for being here today. And I would love to invite you all to engaging with us today by joining other sessions happening next and later today. Thank you, everyone.
Yes, thanks so much. And everyone
Thanks.
who commented, thanks for the sweet comments. It really fueled me. Like, I can really go about my day now with a smile on my face. It was really nice. Thank you, Marwa, for the interview and the opportunity.
Thank
I
you
hope it's
for
not
your
the last
time.
time.
Bye bye. See you.
Bye.